on with Dayton? He's dead. So why is this movie called this?
They use planes, they use trains, and they use automobiles. I just wanted to see like how bad the delay was, so I'm going to count to 3, and on 3, like 1, 2, 3, I just want us all to go ahead and clap, like with that timing, just because I'm so curious about this how bad this is. So, did everyone get that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Wait. On 3?
Oh my god!
Or after 3?
I'm gonna count to 3, and on 3, like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Like
well,
1,
we'll do 1, 2, 3.
3?
Okay?
Or 1, 2, 3,
Yes,
yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and on 3.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
all right, so... God damn it. All right, let's go again. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, it was like a 3
Oh,
second.
boy. Yeah.
It isn't terrible.
Okay, whatever. Just let's go.
All right.
Can we start the show? This is episode 13 of I Finally Saw, where today I finally saw planes, trains, and automobiles. Happy Thanksgiving, hello, and happy Thanksgiving season to everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Finally Saw. I am joined by Marquis.
Yo.
I am joined by Ember.
Hello.
And I am joined by Dayton.
Hello.
I'm
trying to do shit. It's about this shit.
So today, of course, as you can see from our title, we're talking about the classic John Hughes movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and introduce the movie, as always, with a little blurb that I have stolen from Wikipedia, because I'm too lazy to write something myself. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a 1987 American road trip comedy film, written, produced, and directed by John Hughes, and starring Steve Martin and John Candy. It tells the story of Neil Page, an uptight marketing executive, and Del Griffith, a well-meaning but annoying salesman who become travel companions when their flight is diverted, and embark on a 3-day odyssey of misadventures trying to reach Chicago in time for Neil's Thanksgiving dinner with his family.
I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday. I can vouch for that.
So, to kick things off as we usually do, does anyone have, I meant to ask, does anyone have a history lesson? I don't know if anyone bothered. So John Hughes is obviously a very sort of beloved name in the film world. He's done a lot of movies and had a lot of involvement with a lot of sort of beloved Americana stuff, especially stuff from like the 80s and stuff, where he did Ferris Bueller, I believe he did Breakfast Club, I could be wrong about that one, he did Home Alone.
13 Candles.
Yeah, 16 Candles, which probably hasn't aged the best of his work, but Uncle Buck, which also has John Candy, so he's just did a lot of just sort of typical Americana. I think his movies are very much held especially dear by the people of the generation from them, and so that was something. And so part of the interest in talking about this movie is that I don't feel like there's a lot of Thanksgiving movies. There's like a couple of like horror ones that are very sort of cheesy. There's like Freebirds, which I don't know if we'll ever talk about on this show. And then there's this one. And so I was like, for our first sort of year doing the show, I want to talk about these, talk about like a iconic sort of Thanksgiving movie. But I don't know, I guess it's a tangent, but do you guys know of any other Thanksgiving movies?
Spider-Man 2002. It does have a Thanksgiving scene, and I would count it.
No,
I would personally count it.
No,
Listen. If people call Die Hard a Christmas movie, then that's a Thanksgiving movie.
I don't call Die Hard a Christmas movie.
There are plenty. I will admit I don't personally think of. Oh, he died.
Dayton, you killed Dayton. Dayton just disconnected from the call because he hated your point so much.
Way to go.
Listen, okay, I don't necessarily agree with Die Hard being a Christmas movie myself either. However, there is still a contingent of people that we should not ignore that argue that it is because it has. Like, I think it takes place during Christmas, if I recall correctly. And for them, that's
like
enough.
July.
And quite frank, I don't remember what their argument was. Okay.
Their argument is it takes place during Christmas. It's at a Christmas office
Okay,
party.
cool. Yeah, and you know what? If that's enough for them to consider that, then Spider-Man 1 from 2002 having a straight-up actual Thanksgiving scene, I think more than qualifies that to be a Thanksgiving movie.
No. I'll tell you the difference. Die Hard the whole movie takes place at this Christmas party. That's only one scene out of the entire movie of Spider-Man 2002. So what are we talking about?
Look, it is a tradition for me and my friends at our Friendsgivings to go ahead and throw that on and absolutely adore the shit out of the cheesy lines. So you know what? It's a Thanksgiving movie to me, and that's fine for me.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. My favorite Thanksgiving
snoring?
movie.
It did
What
not
was
sound
that?
like that. If that was,
You were doing like you were sleeping like SpongeBob or Ebenezer Scrooge. You were like,
Yeah, exactly. But no, my favorite Thanksgiving movie is Freebirds. That's the only Thanksgiving that I really know.
I knew it. I
I'm the
knew you
biggest
were gonna
bird.
say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm the biggest bird.
Okay.
all right, okay, buddy. I think we can wrap up the episode now. After that,
Okay.
What's our familiarity?
I don't know if I'm going to cut him out of the episode, but Dayton just texted me that his connection is too unstable, so I don't know if he's going to be
No!
back. So apologies for all those Dayton heads out there.
Yeah.
you know, I don't think I
So-
can do this episode without Dayton present.
Oh Lord. How about we transition into actually talking about the movie at hand, and let's talk about planes, trains, and automobiles. So, as we typically do, I'd like to ask, starting with Marquis, what is your guys' familiarity with this movie prior to today?
I knew zip about this movie. The only thing I knew about this movie was the title. I've heard the title before, but I've never heard anyone talk about this movie. Not familiar with this movie. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be like a racing movie, kind of I don't know. I thought they were gonna have to they were around the world or something using planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh,
So you-
Around the world in 100 days.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess kind of they had to race against the calendar to make it home before Thanksgiving. But
A bit of a
Other
stretch,
than
but all
that-
right.
you mean race against time? I have never heard anyone say we got to race
No,
against the calendar.
well, because I was gonna say clock, but then it was multiple days, so I was like, it's not the clock.
So-
it's not like
Time.
Actually, in the director's cut, the Calendar Man was present there
Yeah.
in a lot of the deleted scenes. He just got cut for time.
yeah.
John Calendar.
Ember, Ember, what is your familiarity with this?
Right, yeah. So I kind of had a little bit of a passing familiarity, and just the fact that this was my both of my parents, more so my mom, but my dad as well, but like Steve Martin's, and so a lot of his movies would just kind of be on in the background, and prior to now, a lot of those movies were just kind of registering as oh, that's old head shit, whatever, and so I never really paid attention, to be fair. Old head stuff. Sorry, I know that you try to keep it PG.
Ish.
I'm trying, okay. But yeah, no. So I just kind of never really paid too much attention. But there was the occasional scene that I once every now and then my brain would light up with recognition of oh yeah, it's that thing again, or what have you. But it was fairly limited, to be honest, overall.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I knew one major piece of trivia about this movie before going in. I mean, I was familiar with some of John Hughes' stuff. I remember watching Home Alone a lot growing up. And, I'm familiar with Steve Martin, familiar with John Candy and their work. I mean, I will say this about Steve Martin. Including on-stage performers, he's probably my favorite rendition of the dentist from Little Shop, which we'll probably talk about someday. But this specific movie, the only real thing I knew about it before going in was one very specific major piece of trivia, which is that I believe around the time this movie came out, the PG-13 rating did not exist yet. Because that sort of ended up coming about because, in part, mainly, not solely, but a big part of it was the Indiana Jones franchise and Spielberg. But I don't believe it existed at the time this movie came out. Or at the very least, what I do know is that, like, for the most part, save for one specific scene, and you two probably can guess what it is, this movie would have gotten a PG rating when it released in the time it did. Save for this one scene when Steve Martin blows up and swears and drops, it was like 27 F-bombs to this, like, a lady at the car rental place. And from what I understand, it was either the studio or the MPAA was like, if you take out this scene or you reshoot it so that he's not swearing, you'll get a PG rating. And John Hughes, the director, was like, no, it's too funny. He thought it was too funny, and so he kept it in. They got an R rating. And so I knew about that because it was like a story that's sort of been passed around a lot. But,
I was like, the whole time watching this movie, I was like, what does it have an R rating for? Like, this seems pretty tame for an R-rated comedy. And then that scene, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if this movie was worth. Like, I don't know if that scene was worth it for the R rating.
I'll be honest.
I thought it was funny.
It was decently funny, but I think it still would have had a very comparable amount of funniness if they had reshot it and reduced the amount of quotes. Because I remember there was like one sentence where literally, or almost every other word in the sentence was fuck, and it just felt so like viscerally unnatural, and like that's not how people swear.
That's how people swear when they're angry. I've heard people swear. I've heard people swear like that when they're that upset.
Well, outside of cornballs that Marquis talks to.
Think about what this man just went through.
Look, I've been in the wilderness for days at a time because I used to go camping a lot, and like similar levels of BS would occur, but like you still just kind of like that. I've got some stories that I haven't gotten into, but anyways, but like similar levels of stuff has occurred, and it's just you just kind of roll with it.
I think it's believable, but I would have reshot it to maybe cut out some of the F-bombs.
Or at least shoot like an alternate cut, right, on the set. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he thought it was worth it, and they stood by it. So, I mean, I almost kind of have to respect it in a strange sort of way. But
I absolutely respect a director sticking to their vision.
Should we speak sort of spoiler-free about the movie? But this movie really only has one big spoiler, and I guess we'll get to that later.
Oh yeah, I have my opinions about that.
I'm sure you do. The first, I will get to that, but I will say the first thing I saw, like the first time I called it, I was like, "Oh, Marquis is gonna have thoughts about this, isn't he?" But yeah, so basic premise: we have angry businessman played by Steve Martin, and he wants to, and it's a very different kind of character because we're used to angry businessman not caring about his family, and so immediately this is like. At least that's in my mind. When I think of the trope of like angry businessman who works too much, I think of a character that doesn't really care about his family, or he's just kind of like, I'm providing for my family. That it means I care for them. And like immediately this is kind of different, and I think it really works in like immediately sympathizing us to Steve Martin's character, even if he does sometimes like perhaps go overboard with how curt he is with people, because like at the end of the day he's doing what he does and he's just frustrated because of how much he loves his family. Like all of the frustration that he goes through in this movie is born out of how much he so desperately loves his wife, he loves his kids, and wants nothing more than to be there with them. And I think that's a really like cool. Because if it's just like getting home, that's like one thing. But I do think like how much the movie hinges on his appreciation of that quality time is, I don't know. I think it goes a lot to sort of humanizing him. But I don't know. What are yours? What are your two sort of? I don't know. The dogs are going crazy. What are your sort of overall thoughts about all this?
I don't know. Like, I don't think it was a bad movie by any regard. Like, I just found myself being more annoyed, like being annoyed for Steve Martin's character than like laughing at the situation. You know what I mean? Like when John Candy's character steals the car, and he trips over John Candy's suitcase and stuff like that. It's just like I'm assuming you're supposed to find that funny. I'm just like, no, that really sucks. Like he's just trying to get home, and like John Candy is just making this trip like terrible for him. And I don't know. And it's like obviously John Candy's like he's a very like likable, and like I feel like he redeems his character throughout the movie. But it's just I'm just like all the time I'm just thinking like this isn't really funny. I'm just like, why are we doing this to Steve? Why does Neil Page have to go through this? I feel. And it's like other than that, like I think I don't know. I think this premise also just lends itself to like just being just being frustrated. It's like the plane, he couldn't make it to Chicago, or not frustrating, but just like we know what's gonna happen next, kind of, because like they got a plane to Chicago. There's an hour and 20 minutes left in the movie. What's gonna happen? The plane doesn't go to Chicago. What? They got a train. There's an hour left in the movie. What's gonna happen? The train breaks down. And I feel like it's just a continuous pattern of that throughout the movie. And obviously movie has to movie, but it's just like it gets kind of like repetitive at a certain point.
Yeah. I do think thinking about the meta, or like the runtime remaining of the movie, is kind of not engaging with the media on its terms, maybe. But I do fully understand what you mean, and it is hard to like shut that part of my brain down. Because I also had like a similar issue, but to try to be a little bit more fair and balanced with the movie, that is not like not how you should be engaging with this media.
No, and I agree, but like when you're only 30 minutes into the movie and they get on this train and they do like the whole like goodbye thing, it's like, well, it's like that's not it. You know what I mean? So I just kind of like, I don't know. I just it's not like I take issue with it because I get it. Like movie has to movie, right? And it's like I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think movies like that just don't work for me personally.
Can I say this movie has perhaps one of the strangest Kevin Bacon appearances in anything?
That's what I was like. I was like, wait, is that Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, no, I was so taken aback. I was not expecting a wild Kevin Bacon to just suddenly apparate. And he was there for just the one scene. That was it. I was like, oh, they have Kevin Bacon. I guess he's gonna do something. No, that was it.
Was this before or after Footloose?
Oh, this was definitely after, because Footloose, he's playing like a high schooler, isn't he?
Yeah, so I thought, I don't know.
Actually, I have no idea. When did Footloose come out?
1984, and
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So this is a post Footloose world.
Yeah. So like, when
they
Kevin
paid
Bacon
this man all of that money to show up and didn't use it.
No, so like when Kevin Bacon showed up, I thought he was gonna be like the antagonist of this movie. But if anything, I feel like John Candy's more of the quote unquote antagonist of this movie, even though
I will say this movie is definitely closer to like man versus nature than any other kind of like of the traditional setups.
Right.
Or, not nature, but like just nature is probably the closest thing, because it's just the world conspiring against them. It's not like any individual. But also, while we're on the subject of that scene with Kevin Bacon, I just want to go ahead and point out the $75 that he paid to that, I think it was an attorney, if I recall correctly. If you go ahead and do the inflation calculation, that's $225 of 2025 money.
Oh. I don't know if I'm paying all that for a cab. He missed the flight.
No.
Anyway.
That wasn't even what he paid for the cab. That's what he paid to get access to the cab. That then got stolen.
Yeah.
Dude, that's groceries right there.
I know, right? Stuff.
Good lord.
Don't you love inflation?
It was like a jump scare when he showed up. It was still, it was like a
Honestly.
jump scare when Kevin Bacon showed up. I was like, Kevin Bacon? I was expecting him to be like a running gag throughout the movie, is that he keeps like stealing the seat that like is supposed to go to Steve Martin's character. I was expecting there to be this running gag where they keep bumping into each other, and so it's like these three people, and he just doesn't show up. So I was just like, oh, okay. So, goodbye, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
No, that was it.
I don't know.
Or I thought that he was at least going to return at some point towards the end. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What did you guys think about? I was a little surprised because I don't know, when I think of John, I think
Egbert?
no, not John.
I'm so
When I think of John Hughes, I think of like occasional like very 80s needle drops, but especially because of like Home Alone, I don't know, I wasn't anticipating just how 80s the score to this movie was going to feel.
Yeah, especially like the very final scene. It just felt like, oh, this almost felt like like they were doing a parody of like an 80s movie.
Yeah,
almost,
it was
you know what I mean?
aggressively
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I didn't. This might just be me in modern day, but I'm personally getting like burnt out on all the '80s like member back then type stuff.
All 80s member berries.
So yeah, all those member berries. So I just like that did turn me off a little bit, and that's not the movie's fault. That's just it was a contemporary movie. So, but that was just for me.
I mean, I don't know, yeah. I mean, I think there is like a sort of a charm to sort of something like this, where it is sort of like, I think, I don't know, the music was like sort of odd in that sort of way, but I do think like sort of the art direction, there's something about like the way of the look of the cars and stuff like that I do think has something of a I don't know, a fascination on me. But there is so we have our two main characters. We have Neil, and then we have John Candy, whose name I'm forgetting. Character name I'm forgetting. Dell. And they are saddled on this trip together. They try to get the plane to Chicago, and that doesn't go well, and so they land somewhere in Kansas, like Wichita or something.
Yeah,
not in
that
Kansas,
sounds
is
about
it?
right.
I don't even remember.
No, Wichita's in Texas.
It's a flyover state. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Kansas.
And then they try to they get on the train, which like blows up basically, and then they like try to rent the car. They split up, and there's like that night they spend in the motel where there's like that really awesome gay panic scene. Where
I'll be honest,
like,
I found on the note of that scene, I genuinely found them trying to like reaffirm their, I guess, hetero-ness to be funnier than the like gay panic that what was supposed to be the punchline. That them like immediately starting to talk about like sports and shit, I found that to be way more like enjoyable and funny.
See that Bears game last week? Yeah, hell of a game.
that felt much more like the actual punchline, where they're like, "How's the game? Did you see the Bear game last night?"
No, because you also had the like stinger audio like during them like getting up off the bed and like all
true.
of that. So like that like the editing itself was telling you like that's the punchline, and then everything after that was just like them kind of like letting giving the audience time to laugh or whatever, basically.
See that Bears game last week? Yeah, hell of a game.
But I found that's
Dell was like groping, Neil. So like I don't know. I
God, the two pillows comment was wild.
yeah, I know. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, it was like, that's not pillows.
Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah, no, I mean that was obviously like the punchline, and then the stuff after. That was the two pillows bit was definitely decent though. But I don't know. Overall, I found them like awkwardly trying to be like, I'm straight. I promise to be funnier.
Yeah, and then there's they blow up the car because he tries to litter. Marquis is shaking his head in disapproval.
I listen. Yeah, and then they like and then he goes back to the airport, curses out that poor lady, right? And then he gets punched by that guy into the road. Then John Candy Dell pulls up, almost hits him, and is like, "Come on, we gotta go!"
What a splattered you like a melon.
Then more car shenanigans ensues, right?
Right,
And
they're
then-
accidentally driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
I adored the f***ing stuntman, like, weaving along all over the place. I just wanted to give a quick shout out. I have no clue who the stuntman was for that, but they did phenomenal, and it's... I wish I had taken time to, like, look at BTS of that, because I would love to see how that was shot, which I'm sure was probably not safe, because it was the 80s.
Well, and then there's they're driving on the wrong side of the road, and then there's these two semi-trucks oncoming, and when they weave through them, they briefly get turned into skeletons, and Steve Martin goes to hell for some reason.
Yeah.
Which was like...
Yes.
I was so confused.
It was like the ending of, what's that movie? Like Tales from the Hood with Keith David?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Welcome to hell, I
don't
love that
know.
so much. I just love Keith
I-
David in general, so I've watched pretty much everything that he's in.
I love Keith David. You've watched Has Been Hotel?
Unfortunately,
No.
But anyways,
I slogged through it for Keith.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, and then John Candy is like smoking, and then he tries to litter his cigarette, and he chucks it in the back while Steve Martin is asleep. And then they like after the incident with the two semi trucks, they pull over to the side of the road, and they're like, "Phew, we got to take a breather." And then they realize very slowly that the car is on fire. There's like this whole sequence where they like one of them turns slowly, and then Steve Martin turns slowly.
And then they turn together and start cackling.
Marquis, you sound very invested.
Because then they just start laughing about it, like, oh, like another bad thing happened.
Yeah, it's just this pure moment of catharsis, and then like starting to go ahead and joke about it. I genuinely like that scene, but I also like whenever characters are miserable. So that's just a me.
I just felt like I was losing my mind at that point.
Yeah, and then they go to the motel. They go to the motel, and then Steve Martin has to pawn his watch because he doesn't have enough money to pay for the motel because they got robbed, and then earlier in the movie, and then they've been having to use credit cards, and then Steve Martin left. There was that scene where I'm like, it was like this is definitely not set up for anything, and it was like him being like, I'm going to leave my wallet in the glove compartment. Please do not let me forget it. And I was like, oh, okay, what a random detail.
No, that was.
Yeah.
It was very obvious Chekhov's gun type, or not Chekhov's gun, but like it was.
It was a setup.
It
was
was
like, oh, yeah, they're setting something up here, where it's like they're gonna forget the car or something.
I thought in the first motel when they're signing in, when Steve Martin hands him his credit card and they use like two credit cards or whatever, I thought like there was gonna be like a switch up with his credit cards because like they just stayed on that shot a little too long, but I guess it didn't end up happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. Isn't what?
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I don't know. This entire movie just feels like the B plot from Home Alone.
Which also had John Candy.
Yeah, I know. I just like it just feels like an extended version of that that B plot.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think that's so funny.
Yeah, and then John Candy doesn't have enough money to get a room at the motel. He's like, I got $17 in a watch or something, or he's got $2 in a watch, and then like he's got like his little monologue in the burned out car, and then Steve Martin is like, hey buddy, it's cold outside, and so then they take a night in the room. They bond over one of those like little like alcohol samplers. and then they leave in the morning. And I was like, I remember watching it, and I was like, this is such like a movie. It was really funny because I'm watching the scene after the motel, and I was like, this is such a movie thing, right? Where you have to have like the car, like cars are like such a big part of like iconic film imagery, right? Because there's like the DeLorean, there's the Ghostbusters ambulance, there's the A-Team van. I mean, even like the Robert E. Lee and Knight Rider, you know, like those cars, right? Like cars, there's so many famous cars. Like probably even the one from like National Lampoon Vacation, I'm sure is like iconic to some people. And I'm probably forgetting tons of others, all the Batmobiles and all that. And so like it's just like it's such like a movie thing where you have to have like every like now and then you got to have like that iconic image of like your movie's car. And so I'm like, the car burnt up is like this movie, and I was like, oh, this is such like a movie thing, because I'm like, within like 30 minutes of that thing being on the highway, they totally would have gotten pulled over. And I was like, I thought I was so smart and out thinking the movie and being like, they would never be able to get away with that on the real highway. And as soon as I said that, they got pulled over in the movie, and I felt really stupid. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess they did think about that.
And we was like, gotcha, bitch.
I felt very silly.
John Hughes himself reached out of your screen. He was like, "You thought."
He knew I was gonna say that. He knew all these years later that I was gonna say that, and so it was just like,
Yeah.
make sure I get this guy. But then they like they ride in the back of like some like cheese semi truck because the car gets impounded because the guy's really weird about people riding up in the front. And then they finally get to Chicago, and they're gonna finally say their goodbyes, allegedly at the train station. And Steve Martin gets on the train, and he realizes something. Spoiler: he realizes that
He's gay and he
John
loves John
Candy's
Candy.
wife.
Oh,
No,
that.
I wish that happened. That would have been a much awesomer and epic movie.
Awesomer.
But if they had finally realized they were in love. But no, he realizes that John Candy's wife is dead.
I saw that coming from like a mile away, bro. I was like, no, there's this scene. There's that scene where he's just in the car. Like, he's just in the car. I'm pretty sure he's like talking to isn't he talking to the picture or something? Isn't there a scene with
No,
that?
he's just talking
I
to the
think
air.
no, it was in the
Oh.
I think it was in the motel, if I recall correctly, where he's holding like a picture of his dead wife, and he was it was something like that. But there is something like that, but I think it was in the motel.
So there's a scene in the first motel where he takes her photo out of his bag, and I don't think he really. He maybe says like a couple lines to it, but then the actual like monologue to her about how like I can't hang out with you right now. That's like at the second motel when he's just hanging outside in the burned car.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it
But
was.
like that was when I was like, she's dead, because it was like no one. Like, I get it was supposed to be kind of a joke of him like carrying his wife's picture on because he's like a traveling salesman or whatever. It was like, I don't feel like anyone would do that unless like if they were living. And then it clicked, and that scene it clicked to me. I was like, he has not called his wife this entire movie. Like at least Neil has been like checking in on his wife, updating her.
Shoot a text, send a Snapchat,
Dale-
something.
Yeah, exactly. Dell has done none of that, and I'm just like, I was like, oh, she's dead. That's why, like, he has nothing better to do. That's why he's so like upbeat, because he doesn't have anywhere to be, right? And so I was just like, oh. And then they made it like this huge thing in the end. They were like, it was a montage, and I just thought it was kind of like lame. But I get it, right?
One of my favorite things is that Marquis judges the quality of a twist based on whether or not he was able to guess it beforehand. That's like his barometer for whether or not it was a good twist, is whether or not he was able to call it.
A good twist needs the like evidence to be there beforehand. Now, I don't think that we did. I will agree. I don't think we needed the little like montage of them like covering all of the evidence in the movie before the realization. That felt like a little bit overkill. But like just like a little thing of I almost said John Candy.
Like he gives a
Steve
look,
Martin kind of like
Steve
oh
Martin
shit.
just like
or
Steve Martin's like on the train and he's like looking down and then he like
Yeah.
looks up and his eyes go like the tiniest bit wider.
Yeah.
And then you just cut to him.
So something
running.
like that I think would reward rewatches more rather than like just spelling it out.
Yeah, but I feel like for a good twist, it can't be super obvious. And I feel like that was super obvious. Like a movie that I think has a good twist
Oh no.
spoilers for anyone, is Sixth Sense, right?
I haven't
And
seen The Sixth Sense.
that's
Don't
because-
spoil it.
Oh, okay.
Do I need
then
to watch
never
the
mind.
first one?
Do I have to watch the first sense as well? What about the second sense?
Okay. I think the Sixth Sense is a really good twist because you really can't see it coming, right? And I think that's what like makes a really good twist. I feel like this twist they make it super obvious that to me at least that his wife is dead. It's like that's the only place I saw this movie going for it to like make sense because it gives that perfect opportunity for Neil to be like, oh man, I've been a dick to you this whole time, and you've been nothing but nice, even though you're super annoying and inconsiderate and generally kind of just a dope. But you know what? I feel really bad because your wife's dead. And
Well, I thought
like,
at
that's the-
first
that's
I
the
thought
only-
that
that's the
might
only
have.
place-
At first, I thought he might have just been divorced. That could have also been the case.
I mean, maybe, but that's even more sad that he just carries a picture of her around.
Yeah, I guess that would have
I
been
feel-
somehow would have been even worse for him. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I do think it should have been like a little locket or something. Like it could have been like a cute locket that he had around like what wore as a necklace
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Instead, and also
I
that
just
would
think
have had
a
a little
giant
bit more, like,
picture frame is
sentimental.
also funnier. Is the thing, right?
It is.
Like,
It is
so
more comedic.
It is.
I will absolutely grant
impractical.
that 100%.
And it
But it
makes
makes
sense
it-
because
it
he
just
doesn't
makes
have
it
a
like
home
that, like,
anymore.
more
Like it makes sense because he doesn't have a home
Yeah.
anymore. So he just probably
Yeah,
picked
but
up.
that's
That's
exactly
why he's carrying
it
that
should
trunk
be
around.
a locket. Not
Yeah.
No, that's why he's
exactly
carrying
it
the
should be a
trunk
locket.
around.
But I will say for the comedic purposes of that, I wish that they had almost done like the fucking Naked Gun bit where it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd been funny. Or like, it's just infinite. Like he pulls out like a freaking grenade from it.
what, like Mary Poppins?
That would've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins, Joe.
So
But yeah,
Marquis
I know.
was.
I just saw it coming.
Wow. Bro got a nat 20 on his perception check for real.
Yeah.
That'd be insight, actually.
Okay,
Yeah. How do you sound? You sound fat and stupid.
that's gonna
right, we
age
gotta
really
calm
well
down.
for us. That's a great look for you to be screaming that
And
on the internet.
stinky and silly.
Well, if I had to choose,
Okay. I choose to move on. Yeah. So I don't know. Like. Yeah, I'm lost. Yo, host, do something.
Okay. Wow. I was like, oh, he's taking charge. He's got something to say, and apparently not. Apparently he's got absolute zilch.
No.
So,
He's taking charge by giving you the reins back immediately.
wow, that is incredible on your part. Yeah. I mean, okay. So, do you feel like you kind of do get why this is a movie like? Because from what I understand, this is, at least like me and Marquise's like first pretty blind experience. Marquise, do you feel like you get... Oh yeah, right, you also had it's a little bit of familiarity, but this is like your first proper, right? Yeah. So I mean, I guess then like the last like sort of big question I want to ask then is like, do you feel like you guys understand why this is like probably like a classic that some people like to revisit every year, or are you just kind of like in the dark?
No, I'm kind of in the dark. Like I get it. Like Steve Martin, I feel like every everyone from that was alive in the '80s just like loves Steve Martin. He's got Cheaper by the Dozen. He's got a lot of good stuff. So I feel like they love him. So I get why. I get the Steve Martin aspect. John Candy again, another just big star that people loved back in the '80s. Other than that, and also like John Hughes, people love the John Hughes movies. Other than that, I just like I kind of see the appeal. Like it's this funny like buddy cop kind of romance kind of movie, and it like takes you on a little adventure. So I get the light, but like also for me personally, just not my cup of tea. So I'm still kind of in the dark. about why this movie is so popular. Or maybe that, but I think that's just like my personal preference, you know.
Yeah. I personally do kind of go ahead and I don't think it's ever going to end up becoming like a first choice for me for like oh, it's Thanksgiving, let me pop this in or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it does definitely feel like I could understand how if you grew up with that, like you were in your teens or whatever whenever that movie came out, it definitely does have like a relatively comfy vibe. It has enough laughs to where like it'll be like fun to revisit here and there. Like I can see the appeal on some level, even if it's not like directed or like it's never going to be for me.
Yeah.
And I would never like judge someone for liking it like I would judge them for liking Has Been Hotel.
I don't know if I can leave that one in.
All you Has Been Hotel heads, your days are numbered. I'm coming for you.
You're what?
No. Well, that's not how I meant it, Marquis.
They're doing the Homestuck animated adaptation.
I'm aware.
You of all people would know already.
All right. Listen, I only found out because someone else texted me about it.
High bonus episode.
I can.
There's no way this is staying in the.
We're not even 45 minutes in. This might have to be in the main episode.
No, it'll be fine. So I mean, here's my sort of thing is that like I think I don't know if I've really talked about a lot of my I don't know if I've expressed in like one sort of thought how I feel overall about this movie, which is like, to be honest, I did really enjoy it, but I don't know, I think I needed to have like grown up with this to really find the like value in it. I could see myself like rewatching this every couple of years around like the time period, but I think especially because of like that I don't know, I just love these two performers, like Steve Martin, Little Shop, you brought up Cheaper by the Dozen. He was in of course the iconic DreamWorks animated movie Home, starring Jim Parsons and Rihanna as the leader of the Boov. Which Marquis loves that movie. Yeah.
I do.
I know, that's why I said that. And so...
Can I come into the out now?
And then, John Candy, I mean, he was also in Little Shop of Horrors. He has a wonderful little role there. Home Alone, Uncle Buck, Spaceballs, as the iconic Barf the dog, right? So, I mean... just two performers that I like. There's like that whole generation. There's a lot of comics in that and comedians from that time period that I just have a soft spot for. And so, I like seeing those characters. I have a weird like the soundtrack is so kind of bizarre to me that it almost kind of loops around to being charming. I don't see myself taking the time to make sure I see this like every Thanksgiving though. I think there are just other things, there are some like Christmas movies or some spooky movies that I'm like, I always gotta watch this during Christmas or Halloween respectively. I just don't see this movie getting to that point for me. But I don't know. I'll be curious to see some of like John Hughes' other stuff, because there are quite a few things from him that I am not as familiar with, and to sort of kind of see how his voice tracks through all of that work. But I think overall I really enjoyed it, but I don't know. It's not like the in-demand Thanksgiving movie I so desperately need. I think I'm still waiting on something else to become that for me. But I guess until something else comes along, this is what I have. So to be honest, I guess I could be doing a lot worse. Yeah, well, I guess honestly we've covered most of what I really wanted to in this episode. So I guess at this point then I just kind of like to turn it over to the last question that I usually ask, which is, would you recommend this movie to people? And I guess I'll start with Marquis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a good like this is a movie you could watch with your parents, especially like during Thanksgiving. Like this is like a nice I'd say it's a feel good movie, especially like the ending makes you feel pretty well. And you kind of just see like this bromance between Neil and Dell like blossom. So yeah, if you just want like a smile on Thanksgiving, I would definitely recommend this movie.
Overall, I'm kind of in the same camp. I will admit I would probably recommend something like The Holdovers before this movie, personally, but this
Fair.
is still a fairly comfy movie overall. I know, I'm sorry. I immediately went off the question. But yeah, no, overall, it is a fairly comfy movie. I would probably... It would ultimately be a question of like if the movie like came up naturally in conversation or not, which I will be honest, I'm not 100% sure how it would. But if it did, then I would, and the other person like hadn't seen it, then yeah, for sure, I definitely would. It's a Hello Water Bottle cameo. It's like a comfy blanket of a movie overall, and it has just enough misery for the characters to stay interesting on top of that.
I mean, I feel like there's a pretty straightforward way to bring this movie up. You just got to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You know.
Okay.
Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I don't often play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon in my friend group, so...
Okay, well, you're missing out.
Maybe.
We should play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon later.
Yeah, we'll do this in the bonus episode.
In the bonus
okay?
episode. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the thing that surprised me about this movie is that, like, I'm always sort of, like... Sometimes I'm sort of worried about comedies that they'll... I wasn't sure what to expect with this movie going in. And so, I think it can come off as sort of sickly to some people, but I kind of enjoyed how overtly sweet this movie was, and it can be kind of to an excessive degree for some, like I said, but I think it kind of endeared me to this movie. Like the moment I sort of think of that there's this sort of running through line. There's these 2 moments where Steve Martin's character helps Del carry his big case, and the first one is like right after the train, that I think of anyway, because there might be one before that, but the first one I think of is like after the train breaks down and he just sees Del like dragging it through this like manure field or something, and you can see like Steve Martin's character like going through like the thought process. He doesn't say anything, but he's just kind of like, oh yeah, I should, and he goes up there.
The very first time that he helps Del carry the case was actually when they're leaving the airport from
Right.
in Kansas, and Del like actively has to like ask him for help, and then from there, and then it's the reluctant help sequence that you mentioned, and then like the third and the only other time that I can remember anyways that he helps him was towards the end, whenever they're like walking side by side to the house.
And like that I don't know, that moment. Nice. Yeah, I like that moment where like we don't even have to see him grab it. It's just them having the conversation in like the terminal, and then it just smash cuts to this like shot of the 2 of them walking side by side, and it's like, it is sort of like sweet, and to see him like finally like get together with his kids, and he's like so excited to introduce Del to his family, and he's like so proud of his family and all that. But yeah, I will say I did kind of chuckle at the last shot of this movie because I don't know if I would have ended it on that. It's just a freeze frame close up of John Candy looking kind of sad, and I know what they're going for. But it just like, I was like, we should have done like it would have been cliche, but I'm like, maybe we just do like the door, and like we do like a crane up, like a jib up from the door, and the door closes or something, right? Like,
peace on jib.
I don't know, something. Something else would have been a little bit better. I also understand that they were just like going for like, oh no, he misses his family, whatever. But like, it did definitely feel awkward. I also adore. I know that this probably isn't what they were going for necessarily, but there's a look that my brain keeps misremembering. Not Del, the other one.
Neil?
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. And I'm sure that that's probably not what they were going for, but Neil's wife gives Del like a look, which for half a second like just kept like making me think back to like the like, oh, they're gonna be gay for each other jokes. But Elle has ruined my movie watching capabilities, but regardless of that, I don't know. There was almost like a look between Neil's wife and John Candy's character that almost looked like a tinge of jealousy, and it made me like cackle.
Yeah, I was like, he kind of looks like, okay, bro, you're just rubbing in the fact that your wife is still alive in my face. I was like, it kind of looks like,
Yeah.
and I forgot, I was so. No, because the other thing is, like, when his wife comes down the stairs, they have these, like, extreme close-ups on Neil's wife and Dell, and I was half expecting expecting her to recognize Dell, and I don't even know from what, possibly, they could have known each other from.
No,
but it's shot
same.
like a scene where she's gonna be like, Dell? And he's, I don't even remember what, it's just like, and I know
revealed
that
to be
wasn't
her high school boyfriend.
Yeah, no, but she says like, "Thank you for getting my husband home, Mr. Griffith," or something to that effect, and it's just like it
Yeah,
feels like she knows him. Yeah, I don't know. There's just like really
There's some
weird
lore here.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that note, I don't know. I had to get that out there. But yes, thank you very well. I think on that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this discussion. But I do want to say thank you very much for my co-host for joining me. Sorry, Dayton fans, that he died on us.
The Daytonators.
Yeah.
We're having his funeral this Sunday. If you could go on ahead and make it, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
If not, we're going to go on ahead and throw up the address and time and date here on
we're
screen
having it at
now.
Marquis'
If
house.
you could go on
Use
ahead and make it to the
Marquis'
service.
Thank you all.
If you could go ahead and make it to
love
the
you.
service, we'd really appreciate it. All gifts that, if you bring a gift, at least $1,000 in
Yeah.
value, of course, as is customary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you all.
Okay.
I love you. And good night.